Hello again. This is Dr. Blair Reich, coming back at you with Hillary Clinton Body Double Saga. Who was at the debate? If you just want the short answer, I think it was the original Hillary Clinton of August 2016, but I'm going to go through that now. So there's your, if you're just looking to do this in 20 seconds, there you go. So here's a picture of Hillary Clinton. I like this one, this nice little winky smile that she's got here. I like this crease that's up along the side of her nose here. We're going to talk about that later. This is what I am referring to as her Joker smile, and actually these will go all the way up her face. These are the crow's feet that I'm going to mention. Here are the her eyebrow wrinkles. Here are some of the spots on her head. So you can see those in the freckles up there. The smile that kind of cuts across on this side too. So we're going to look for all those kind of features as we move along. So I spent 16 days staring at face shots of Hillary Clinton as I tried to figure out who was running around after her collapse on 9/11. And I actually have a little survey. So hopefully you guys don't mind going on to Steemit and clicking on this survey. I guess I'll also put it in the description. But you guys might want to go do this before you look at the rest of this, because this is, can you tell the difference between who these people are? It doesn't take that long. It's like 2 minutes, and it's a bit of a silly thing, but I'm kind of curious about how well the audience of this can pick them out. So anyways, they have here it is in slow motion. And, I'm actually going to play some of this because, I think, so her hands are behind her. And I think that's one of the main reasons why everybody says, oh, she's getting arrested. She's getting arrested. Her hands aren't in cuffs. They're just up against that pillar. And her arm right there goes in front of her body. So unless in cuffs, you can go from behind your back to in front of your body, and only one of your arms, I don't think that she's in cuffs. So we're going to see this thing in slow motion. Her right arm is behind her. It is supporting her weight. It is like her back is on her hand, and her hand is on this the steel pillar heel. One of the things that some people have claimed make this thing look doctored is that these lines on the grates are not, they go transparent for a while. So maybe some of this footage is doctored. We see doctored footage later, which is much more obvious than that. So that's one of the things that leads me to that it's a real possibility. So here comes her arm. So she's not very stable. This guy's going to grab the arm and he's going to bring it out in front of her. So her hand is still behind her back, but there it goes in front of her. So I don't think this was an arrest. The other thing to note is this guy's filming it. And so that's very, very interesting. Why they let somebody in there behind the security guards film this entire thing is very confusing to me. But those are just data points. You don't have to trust everything I say. Just look at data points and see what fits in to your own conclusions here. So this was all about her arrest. Then we talk about some of her medical conditions. So the publicly disclosed ones, she had dehydration, flu, pneumonia, allergies, concussion, and coughing. So that's what her own campaign said. Some unofficial symptoms from leaked records say she had blood clots and dementia, and I have a link for that down below, or the image. The campaign suggested she may have been poisoned by Russia. So that's another thing that, just a data point, file that one away. And then some candid video shows evidence of a tongue lesion or possibly a cyst that was removed, and also some clear evidence of seizures. So this other doctor, this is a link to that guy that said, oh, she has Parkinson's or Parkinsonianism. And then one of the other things that I talk about, and actually I don't have the link here, I put it into one of the other ones, but there's some off-the-record testimony that keeps popping up by either previous Secret Service members or other people that were part of that White House that says that she was more sexually active in an extramarital way than Bill Clinton was. So when you start to take all these things together, it's possible that she had lots of different illnesses. That could be real. If I wanted to go find one illness that could kind of be the umbrella for all these things, I would think of tertiary syphilis or late stage neurosyphilis. Another one might be cancer. So here's her seizure. This is Hillary Clinton, and look how the eye tracks in when she's having that very weird moment. So that's not just her being goofy. That's a seizure event. Here's a little tongue lesion. Here's the tongue lesion removed. This is Lisa Bardak. This is her actual doctor. She doesn't she claims that these things aren't real, but here it is: complex partial seizures and vascular dementia. And then somewhere else it was deep vein thrombosis, and the thrombosis is basically blood clots in her leg. On 9/11, she's getting taken away. This is one of her aides, but she's doing a finger squeeze test here, which makes everybody think that this is like a neurological thing. So they take her away. They bring her to Chelsea's, and Chelsea's is actually like this healthcare facility. And then out comes this first person, and the first person is a double. And you can see that her face looks a lot younger. The wrinkles don't match up. Where the heck are where's the Joker smile? That's not there. Sunspots. I mean, just these two people look like they're a difference of age of 20 odd years. And then the hands don't match up. So if you're looking for one very concrete piece of evidence that they're not the same person, she's missing an entire line of her palm. So, and also just look how wrinkly this thing is. It looks like it's been soaked in water for 20 years compared to this one. So those are pretty clearly two different people. And just in terms of the illness that she has, like the whole pneumonia thing, either this photo is weird or there's something weird about the whole pneumonia thing, because why would she be taking a photo up with this girl if she has pneumonia? And then also, where's the rest of her security detail? There's one cop here, and off to the side there seems to be two Secret Service folks over here. But that's a very, very light detail for her, so that doesn't make any sense. And then what happens is that we find out that, in part because Twitter exploded and everybody said that's a body double, it seems like they've replaced her with a different one. And then they also started manipulating footage of her. I call this the predator shot, where she goes away. And this isn't just compression problems. Compression problems would screw up everything here, so you wouldn't actually be able to see straight through it. The fact that you can see straight through it implies that this thing is made up of more than one layers. So maybe it was green screen, maybe this thing was rotoscoping, lots of different ways that they could have done this. But the main point here is that this is not just organic footage. They've manipulated this thing, which is part of what makes me want to go back and keep looking at those other films, like the one on 9/11, and say, I know that they've been modifying the footage later, so they were probably doing that before too. And so we get to go see a couple of couple images of this double, and this double to me doesn't look anything like her. The nose is wrong. The crow's feet are non-existent. The Joker smile isn't really there. She has a couple wrinkles, but not really. She has this really characteristic 1 to 2 inch long neck crease that's right here, and it doesn't extend. Like Hillary Clinton's will extend from ear to ear, so that doesn't look like her. The teeth is wrong, the smile's wrong, the overbite's wrong, the nose is wrong. There's just lots of things about this that don't make sense. Now, this woman and this woman are the same woman. She just looks very young and very strong jawline that's there, very thin. These two women are much thinner than what Hillary Clinton is. And this person and this person I believe to be the same one. And when I look at her face, first off, she's got hazel eyes or brown eyes. There's no way that's her. Her eyebrows are up a little and you don't see any of the wrinkles. The crease in her neck is just 1 or 2 inches down here. There's just lots about this that makes me think that it's not her. And I got other videos for that. This one seems doctored too. I mean, I'm calling these Minecraft hands, that big square block. There's something about when she puts her arms in front of her own green jacket that suddenly the already terrible resolution just goes away completely. And so when I look at the side-by-side comparison of these two women, she's missing the 3 wrens or moles that should be on her face. She's missing the sort of triangular Joker smile. The crease doesn't go all the way up her neck. The eye color is wrong. And they look like they're 20 years separated in age. Here's another one. This one I also think is sort of, these two people I think of as the same person. And so when I'm comparing these two, she just looks, 20, almost 30 years younger than this woman here. So we can keep going down as we do this. There's this other footage of her. This is probably the most convincing of the double two images that I've had. She has blue eyes in this. The neck looks a little bit more wrinkled, but it's the first really clear footage that we've seen of her. And actually, there's just one part of this that's been driving me nuts. So she walks in here.
Secretary, thank you so much for meeting with ABC Action News. We really appreciate it. What's your first name? Serena. It's so nice to meet you. And look, I brought that picture of your husband. My brother operated on your aid.
Okay, so the brother operated on the aid, and there's no we're not going to see any recognition by this person in this.
One of your aides. He's a neurosurgeon.
No comments. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's wild. But nothing like, oh, thank you. There's no personality to this. There's no personal connection. Just watch. She'll just say, I don't remember any of it.
I think you were at that event. So actually.
I don't remember. So, like, look, the woman's had dementia and some other problems. So maybe it's natural that she wouldn't remember these things at all. But I think my point is more like there's a lot of movies that'll use, here's this one piece of personal remembrance between two people. Do you remember us doing this? And they would do that to sort of make sure that the person isn't a double. Now, I know that reporter is not there as like a gotcha reporter trying to figure out if she's a double. She's just asking her questions. And the questions that she asks that are on that personal level, she has no recollection of, no connection to. And that, to me, it's just been bothering me because I think that's one of the signs that, she should have remembered Bill Clinton's surgery, but she has no recollection of it whatsoever. Anyways, so double two also gets kind of busted because her eye goes wonky. The technical term for this is strabismus, but I just think of this as having kind of a lazy eye where the two things don't track. Now, we see that the normal Secretary Clinton has that same problem, but it's really only during her seizures. It's not during just regular speech appearances. Anyways, all this stuff gets more complicated because she dies, or at least it's reported that she dies. ABC News, the net reports that she dies. ABC, just on television, they report that she dies. And he goes on. He's like, the clip that most people see is only 16 seconds. So let's go play this so that people know that he goes on with the story like he didn't say death.
Hillary Clinton's doctor has just revealed the presidential candidate has been diagnosed with pneumonia.
So you can hear him just continue talking over. It didn't matter that he just said death. It almost seems like he said that as an accident, not like he said that on purpose. So maybe that one is sort of a legitimate error. But this one is hard to claim as an error. I saw a tweet by Chuck Todd, but I can't find it anymore. And then Benjamin Fulford is a sort of an alternative journalist, and he came out and he said Hillary Clinton is dead. So I've seen this 4 places. It's not enough to convince me that she's actually dead, but it's just part of the story that I'm trying to share. Now, after the collapse, there are 3 different places that she goes on TV, and to the best of my knowledge, all 3 of these were filmed before 9/11 collapse. There's her appearance on Face the Nation. There's appearance, which is so funny, on Between Two Ferns, and then the last one is Jimmy Fallon. And so this is Hillary Clinton in August. Again, just this to me is one of like the best, most secret tells about which person this is. I don't see everybody having this kind of this one wrinkle that goes from her top left nostril up in kind of an S-like pattern into her eye socket there. So that to me is a pretty good tell. Again, this Joker smile, and the Joker smile has on the left side of the face, it just kind of juts out horizontally into the middle of her cheek before it starts coming around. On this other side of her face, it's more triangular, and it doesn't just like jut out horizontally. This one feels like there's a straight line that comes out of the crease here, and you can just see, I call this the Norse lightning bolt, where you can just see that there's like that clear zigzag to her face. And then on this side, this line will come down into her cheek. And then here's another good one. It's from a little further away, but I still like this picture. Just it gives you a good reference guide of what she ought to look like. And here you can see there's the line that's there in her face. So this is that woman too. I don't know when this one was taken. But Between Two Ferns, the neck starts looking right to me. I mean, this is September 9th. I know that date for sure. So this is not really all that controversial. The neck wrinkles are there. Her eyebrows go up a little and you see 10 different lines. A very strong piece right above her lip. I don't know what this is called, but it's very strong. You can see that she has the 3 wrens on her face, or the 3 moles, the 1, 2, 3. So that looks like her. Deep bags under her eyes, and she's not smiling much, but as soon as she starts smiling, you can see the Joker smile that comes up. Here you can see that sort of the zigzag pattern that I was expecting over there, the ren on her face. It's a pretty circular face, and these are like really circular bags. So those are, it's not like a tell, but that's one of the things that I'm looking for. Now people get facelifts all the time, but they don't really get neck lifts. So when I can see one of the beauty friends called this cray paper, I think. So when you can see the wrinkles that are here on her neck, that's more of a giveaway. And the other thing that I see here pretty constantly is just the X across her neck. So here's the X that I'm seeing. So that's another thing when she's sitting in these interviews, and there seems to be a little dot here. Sometimes she'll get a dimple here too, but those are the kind of things, like this little dimple will appear when she's talking. Eyebrows go up, and there it is. So same kind of thing over here. This is, again, not controversial. This is Jimmy Fallon. I believe this was filmed either in late August or earlier September. You can see the wrinkles on her face, the crow's feet. Here, it kind of extends from the Joker smile down. You see a bit of a double chin, so she's not super thin like double 2 or double 1 was. Here it comes out horizontally. This is what I'm expecting. You got to see this, because if that's not there on a smile, I just don't think it's her. You can see the deep wrinkles on her neck. So here are the things that I've said them all, but just I've tried to write them all down here. Does she have the wrinkles on her forehead when her eyebrows go up? Does she have the bags under her eyes? Do her crow's feet extend from her eyes when her face is at rest? Can I find one photo where you can see the 3 moles or the 3 wrens? That's pretty important. You don't always see them, but there should be at least one photo in a series where you can. There's that wrinkle that extends from her nostril up to her right eye. I'm sorry, to her, that's on her left side. So it's on the left side. I better fix that. And it goes right up into her eye socket. Her neck is very wrinkly, and it forms that X. Her nose has a very small bridge. So she doesn't have a lot of distance between her eye and the bridge of her nose. It kind of goes up a little bit, then down a little bit, and then back up. So it's not super flat. You couldn't just put a ruler on it and have all the points of the ruler stay there. And that's one of the things that I think I see with double 2. She has this Joker smile, and then also just talking about that lightning bolt. So who showed up at the debate? Those are all the things that I'm looking for. I see this piece starts coming out horizontally. I'm looking for that. Here's the Joker smile. It comes down into the chin. The chin is a double chin. There's quite a lot of wrinkles going around that her neck. You see the crow's feet by her eye. That to me looks like the August version of this. This is one of the photos that makes her look a little young, but she doesn't look 30 years younger. This looks like she's had one hell of a chemical peel, and maybe some other treatments, but it's not so, like a lot of people have said it's makeup. This looks like makeup. She looks slightly different than some of her other performances from back in August or earlier than September 11th. You see that dimple shows up when she's talking. You can't always get a still of that. The wrens or the moles start popping up again. We can see the sort of Norse lightning bolt that I'm expecting. You see, maybe this isn't quite the X, but her chin's too up for that. But you can see that there's quite a bit of neck wrinkles down here. You can see the corner smile extending up there. I mean, most of these, this is sort of a Zen pose. I think of this as when the bullshit is just right. So that's pretty funny. I tried to get photos of her hands, but nothing clear came through. If anybody knows a still shot for her hands, that would be great. I'd love to use them and incorporate them. These are the only 2 photos that really freak me out. Her nose just doesn't look quite right in this. She looks too young. She does have that double chin. So I'm like 90 to 95% confident that this is the woman from August. And if there's anything that gives me pause, it's these 2 photos. They kind of freak me out and make me think that I'm wrong about that. But just about everything else, this comes out exactly the way that I would expect it to. I'm giving a lot of these photos here because I think that it might come back later to help me. Here's some of that X that I'm talking about. It's not perfectly clear, but it looks like there's one line coming across here, one line coming across there. That's roughly what I'm looking for. The Joker smile that's coming up. That's useful. I mean, this looks like that woman. This is like a pretty youthful picture, which is why I think that this is probably just the makeup and this is probably just the like one hell of a chemical peel. You can see that the chin line comes out horizontally on the left side. That's what I'm looking for. So she just has all the classic pieces of what I'm expecting when I'm looking at Hillary Clinton. I mean, look at this. Look at how much that Joker smile, the double chin, the neck wrinkles. I mean, that to me is the person that I'm expecting. So I have a lot of those photos. I'll skip through a bunch of these, but they're all on the Steemit blog. So if you want to go compare certain faces against other ones, this should help you do that. And some of these photos aren't flattering. Some people have asked me who won the debate. My favorite image thus far is the only winner tonight is the Voyager probe, which is speeding away from the Earth at 17 kilometers per second. I think that's pretty hilarious. So, I'm going to run some of these comparisons. It's easier to see when they're side by side, but this woman just looks 10 or 20 years younger. She's got different color eyes, so that's not in her favor. The neck crease just isn't there, and it's not there basically at any time that I see these photos. This is that double. I mean, she looks sort of convincing, but she's just she's just always kind of like wide-eyed and a little crazy, and she's always head bobbing. So she has some of that Joker smile, which makes her kind of convincing. So I think that this is double too. I'm not 100% positive, but she seems to talk at a different cadence. She moves better. There's just lots of things about her that don't strike me as being the same woman. And hopefully if you stare at that as long as I have, you start thinking, well, she's missing parts. Like where's the piece of her smile that juts straight out this way? I just don't see it. She doesn't get the dimple. There's a teeny wren, and it looks like she has two on the bottom side of her mouth, but it's supposed to be on the top. I mean, there's little weird things that never match up. Here's a side by side of these two women. I mean, she does look a little bit younger, but this is where, she's on a main debate stage. If she was gone for a week, maybe they did some skin treatments or something to make her look younger and healthier. These two, I think, are nearly identical as I'd hoped for. The lines come across, the smile comes up, and you can see sort of the hook up here and then come down, and the hook and come down. I mean, they're not perfectly aligned, but they're pretty convincing to me. This is her actual campaign photo, and the campaign photo fits in with what I'm seeing here and here. And then lastly, when I'm going across, meet the press or face the nation. Here's the debate. Here's her official campaign one. Here's Jimmy Fallon. And these women look the same to me. I mean, they're not perfectly aligned. I'm not a graphic artist, so I can't pause it at all the right moments, but I'm convinced that these four people are the same. So that's the short of it. There is another weird thing that looks like they printed her name wrong on the debate tickets. So it's possible that, that's just a typo, but sometimes they do little weird things like this where like the person is Hillary Clinton, but it's not the two L's. So that's getting more into like conspiracy land than I want to be. I'm just trying to note differences between these people, not necessarily explain it, but here's a data point. Just file this away and see if it makes sense at another time. The next sort of controversial things that I've been looking into, she seems to have something on her back that she's wired up somehow. So the two leading theories on this is that it's either like a microphone or it's part of treating Parkinson's. So I don't know. I'm not sure that anybody knows, but she certainly seems to have a wire running up her back in some sort of box down at the bottom. And then the real bizarro land one is Howard Dean, the former governor and the former presidential candidate, tweeted, "It looks like Trump's a coke user," and this showed up in the feed too. So these two candidates couldn't possibly be worse. I mean, that's why their approval ratings in the toilet. That's why America's actually thinking about voting in a third party here. These people are just pretty terrible. Anyways, that's my thought. That's what I've seen on this, and I think it's her. And we'll see what you guys think. Let me know. Put something in the comments, and I'll keep following this story as people keep showing up, and I'll try to figure out who they are. Thanks, guys.